Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Arteries podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Twice a Daughter, A Search for Identity, Family, and Belonging by Julie Ryan McGee is a memoir that follows an adopted woman's lifelong effort to understand where she came from and how that origin story shapes who she becomes. Known for writing about adoption, family history, and the Midwest, McGee uses personal experience to explore the layered realities of growing up with loving adoptive parents while still feeling unanswered questions about biology, ancestry, and belonging. The narrative traces the emotional push and pull that can accompany adoption, gratitude, and loyalty, alongside curiosity, grief, and a desire for factual clarity. As the author moves through adulthood, her search expands beyond paperwork into relationships, identity, and the meaning of family. The book also reflects broader social shifts, including changing attitudes toward closed adoptions and the growing role of records, DNA tools, and support communities. Readers can expect a candid, reflective journey that treats adoption not as a single event, but as a lifelong process. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, living adoption as a lifelong story. A central topic in the memoir is the idea that adoption does not end with placement. It continues to unfold across decades. McGee portrays adoption as a foundation that influences attachment, self-understanding, and family dynamics in ways that can be subtle in childhood and sharper in adulthood. She shows how an adoptee can feel securely loved and still experience an internal sense of difference, especially when family narratives, medical history, or heritage details are missing. The book frames these feelings as understandable rather than shameful, emphasizing that curiosity about origins is not a rejection of adoptive parents. It also explores how milestones like adolescence, marriage, parenthood, or health concerns can reactivate questions about biology and identity. By treating adoption as a continuing experience, the memoir helps readers recognize patterns such as loyalty conflicts, fear of hurting loved ones, and the ongoing work of integrating two realities at once: the family who raised you and the family you came from. This perspective supports a more compassionate view of adoptee complexity and counters simplistic expectations that gratitude should erase longing. Secondly, identity, belonging, and the search for roots. McGee's search is as much emotional as it is factual, focusing on what it means to belong. The memoir examines identity as a blend of lived experience, personal values, and biological connection, and it highlights how adoption can complicate that blend. The author's quest for information is framed as a desire for wholeness, understanding inherited traits, cultural and regional origins, and the story that existed before the adoptive family began. The book also addresses the ache of not knowing, including gaps in medical history and the nagging question of resemblance, the small everyday moments when people assume a genetic link that an adoptee cannot confirm. Alongside that, it explores how belonging is negotiated within families, communities, and social settings where biology is often treated as the default marker of connection. By following the author's process of inquiry, the memoir shows that finding roots is rarely a single revelation. It is a gradual building of context that can bring relief, grief, and new questions at the same time. Ultimately, the topic underscores that identity work is legitimate, even when the answers are messy. Thirdly, family relationships and loyalty conflicts. Another important topic is how adoption shapes relationships inside the adoptive family and influences communication patterns over time. The memoir explores the tension many adoptees feel between honoring the parents who raised them and acknowledging a personal need to know more about their biological origins. McGee presents loyalty conflict as a real emotional burden, not a sign of ingratitude. The book considers how adoptive parents may carry their own fears, insecurity, or protectiveness, especially in eras when closed adoption was common and secrecy was framed as kindness. It also shows the ways siblings, extended relatives, and partners can be drawn into the adoptee's search, sometimes offering support and sometimes misunderstanding the intensity of the need. By focusing on relationship dynamics, the narrative invites readers to think about boundaries, empathy, and timing, when to ask questions, how to share discoveries, and how to make space for multiple truths in the same family system. The topic encourages a more mature definition of family, one that allows love and curiosity to coexist, and it illustrates how honest conversation can be both difficult and ultimately strengthening. Fourthly, unsealing the past, records, clues, and modern tools. The memoir highlights the practical side of searching, the slow work of gathering documents, interpreting limited information, and following leads. This topic reflects how adoptee searches often move through bureaucratic obstacles, changing laws, and institutional record-keeping that can be incomplete or intentionally vague. McGee's journey shows the persistence required to sift through adoption narratives that may have been shaped by agencies, social norms, or the desire to protect reputations. It also gestures to the modern landscape where DNA testing, online databases, and social media can accelerate discovery while introducing new complications, such as unexpected matches, family secrets, and ethical questions about privacy. The book emphasizes that information alone does not solve everything. Each new detail can create emotional consequences, raising questions about contact, expectations, and the right way to approach biological relatives. Readers gain an understanding of the search as a structured process with emotional stakes at every step. The topic is valuable for adoptees and their families because it demystifies the mechanics of discovery while acknowledging that outcomes are unpredictable and often require resilience, patience, and careful decision-making. Lastly, making peace with complexity and building wholeness. The final major topic is integration, how an adoptee constructs a sense of wholeness without demanding a perfect ending. McGue's story suggests that reconciliation is less about choosing one family over another and more about accepting a complex personal history. The memoir explores how grief can exist alongside gratitude and how answers can bring both comfort and fresh uncertainty. It shows the emotional maturity involved in letting identity be multi-layered, shaped by adoptive upbringing, personal choices, and biological inheritance. This topic also examines self-compassion, as adoptees may judge themselves for wanting more information or for feeling different in a family that loves them. The narrative encourages readers to see those feelings as part of human development rather than a flaw. Integration can include honoring adoptive bonds, acknowledging losses connected to separation, and allowing space for relationships that may or may not be possible with biological relatives. The broader message is that belonging can be built through truth, reflection, and chosen community, not only through genetics. By the end, the reader is left with a realistic model of healing that values clarity and connection while respecting ambiguity. In conclusion, this book is well-suited for adult adoptees, adoptive parents, birth family members, and counselors or social workers who want a grounded view of how adoption shapes identity over time. It also fits any reader drawn to memoirs about family history, personal resilience, and the meaning of home. The benefit is practical and emotional. It validates complicated feelings that are often minimized, and it offers a relatable map of the questions that can surface at different life stages. Readers may come away with more empathy for the adoptee experience, better language for discussing origins, and a clearer sense that curiosity and love are not opposites. Compared with many adoption books that lean heavily toward policy debates or inspirational simplicity, Twice a Daughter stands out for its reflective realism and focus on lived experience. It does not present searching as a tidy quest with a single payoff. Instead, it emphasizes process, relationship nuance, and the personal work of integration. That makes it worth buying for readers who want a credible, human-scale account that can inform real conversations in families and support healthier expectations around reunion, identity, and belonging. If you would like to support Julie Ryan McGue, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.